Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video and another guide for challenge mode. Last week I uploaded a guide for the Lincoln Tunnel checkpoint and this time we're turning our attention to the Lexington Event Center. I will of course be covering the Russian Consulate and the Warren Gate ones very soon as well, so do stick around for those ones, but for the time being let's focus on this one. So if you guys do find it helpful then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, but let's get started. So just before we dive into the actual mission itself, let's super quickly talk about setup. So for this one, I'm actually running with Smart Cover and the Trapper mod for, of course, the increased damage. And I'm also running with Support Station and the Immunizer mod simply because with that down, if I'm standing inside it, then if the enemy throws anything like, say, stun grenades or bleed grenades or incendiary grenades at me, then I will be able to neutralize the effect. So it is really useful. Also, something you guys might not have known since then, up until now, a lot of people have been using Smart Cover because it stacks. Well, there seems to have been a stealth patch that happened at some point last week because Smart Cover no longer stacks. I've done some testing with my team with all the different mods, and I can tell you categorically that Smart Cover does not stack anymore. So if you guys were familiar with how it worked before, people would typically put down 4 Smart Cover Trapper mods on one wall because that would then give you 4 times the damage boost, but now if you do that, you will simply just get the damage boost from one of them. You can still throw 4 onto a wall, but you're wasting your time because you won't get any bigger damage boost. So if you are going to be going to a challenge mode mission, you might as well actually spread your skills slightly more usefully and give other people in your team something else to use. So some of our guys are running with Sticky Bomb, Flashbang, Turret, etc. But for the time being, I'm running with Trapper and Support Station, so that's what I need. Now, the actual mission itself, starting from the outside, what you want to do is run up to this black car here, throw down the Support Station, throw down Trapper, have everyone group up behind and pick off the enemies. These guys are generally not too difficult. You can burn them down, watch out for the shotgun guys that will try and run behind you, but generally speaking, this one is pretty straightforward. After that, you then want to go and of course free the hostage, work your way up the stairs, make sure you don't forget to shoot the balloons because it's just what I do every single time. And you then want to move up to the first main room. So this one here, what you want to do is group up behind this desk to begin with, throw Trapper on the wall, and of course throw down the Support Station. The first priority will be the shotgun rushers that will be running down. Sometimes in an ideal situation they will split, one will go left, one will go right. Other times they will split and both go left. But either way, burn those 2 down first because they are of course the ones that will mess things up to begin with. And once you've got them down, you can then start controlling and mopping through the room. Now, what you want to also bear in mind is that there are 3 waves of enemies. There's the first wave that you're fighting right now. Once you've done that, there's a second wave which will come out of the room inside where the hostage is, and then the third and final wave comes out the door that you'll actually be leaving through. So what you can actually do to make this really, really easy, I actually messed it up a little bit here because we were kind of like split apart because some of the enemies actually ran out the door. But once you've actually got the first wave down to the last enemy, what you actually want to do is group up inside the room, and you can actually throw grenades at this door here. There's 2 doors, they'll actually come out the left and the right doors, but either way, all the enemies for the second wave will come out of this small cubicle. So if you throw down incendiary grenades, you throw down shock grenades, you throw down stun grenades, anything like that, any CC stuff, you can even throw turrets outside the door, or you can use a flashbang, anything like that, you can actually lock them pretty much in the room. And if you then hide behind a desk and throw down Trapper again, you can then just pile in some damage and basically blitz them before they even come out the door. Typically there'll be a straggler that escape, but for the most part it makes it super manageable and just means you can catch them as they're coming out. And the same actually applies for the last one. Once you kill the last enemy from wave 2, the doors at the back will open up, and again, if you're here, you can throw an incendiary grenade down, throw Trapper behind this wall, throw down a Support Station if you need it, and you can basically just blitz the enemies. Now, what you can do here as well, if you have gear that isn't quite as good, what I would recommend is, say, actually taking Tactical Link for most of your team members here, because there aren't too many situations where you're really going to need Survivor Link, so I'd say you could probably take 3 out of 4 Tactical Links, because then what you can do is, anytime you get to a wave where there's like a big heavy machine gun guy, you can throw on Tactical Link, burn through him, and that should help make things much, much easier. Now moving on from there, you make your way up the stairs, through the Echo Room, up the lift, and then once you're here, you're going to fight from behind this wall. You can also climb up on top of the shed to the right, but basically you want to use this to take down the wave of enemies that is in front of you. There are also enemies to the left up the stairs, but for the time being, focus on the guys right in front. The snipers will of course pick you off, and they do hit pretty hard, so do try and sort of, keep them busy, but for the most part, your main focus will be the shotgun rushers and the big heavy guy to the right. If you do ignore him, he will push up and he will of course force you back into the elevator room, and that's typically where this rooftop will go from bad to worse. So if you focus on him first, kind of like team shot him, take him down, again use Trapper, use Smart Cover, all that stuff like that, then once he's down it becomes a lot more manageable, because afterwards a lot of the other guys hide behind cover, so you can pick them off gradually, use snipers, use range weapons, and once the wave of enemies in front of you is clear, you can then start working up to the left and picking off those last remaining guys. Now, once you've cleared the first wave on the roof, you then want to go and free the hostage, and this next part, this is how to make it super, super easy. Of course, you can just let them come out the door, you can hide behind their wall and just, siege it up and just take your time, but by far the most effective way, it's a little bit risky, but if you can actually do it right, it will definitely pay off. What you want to do is you want to group up over here. Now, when the actual conversation starts and you actually start seeing the subtitles on screen, assuming you have them turned on, that is basically your signal to get ready. You then want to throw smart cover on the wall with the trapper mod. You then want to throw down the support station to give yourself some healing. If you do have members in your team that perhaps aren't too tanky, this might also be the part where you pop survivor link, but then shortly after the dialogue, you want to throw an incendiary grenade at the front of the door. The doors will open, and if you do it right and you time it right, everyone inside that room will be on fire. Meaning that for the next sort of, 5 or 6 seconds, they will be standing there in the fire animation. They will not be running out, and at that time you can then take advantage of Trapper, and if you have it, you can even use Tactical Link, and you can literally just pile bullets into every single person in the room. You will normally find that one of them might escape at the end as like a little straggler, but generally speaking, by the time that happens, you would have taken out every single other enemy in the room, and you just turn to the left and pick him off. And that is how you make this section super fast. After that, you then work down the lift and you work into this next room. Again, the principle is pretty much the same. You basically want to find a big piece of cover that a lot of your team can group up behind, because then you can also take advantage of the skills. Plus, it also means that if someone goes down, you're very close to them and you can pick them up. But what you also want to do as well in here is you want to focus fire on the big guy to begin with, because again, if he pushes up too close, he will force you back, and that is ultimately what makes these challenge modes go bad. Shotgun rushers and the big guys are the two forces that will turn a challenge mode into a really difficult nightmare if you don't keep them under control. If you deal with the shotgun guys, you focus down the big guys, everyone else that's behind cover is just really not a problem. So again, focus on those, take them out. After the first wave, the second wave will spawn in the back right door. So if you start to push forward, once you defeat the first wave of enemies, again the same principle can apply. You can turn to the right, throw down an incendiary grenade and catch most of the enemies as they're coming out, and you can blitz through them. And for the third wave, here's a funny tip. I actually got this one from Willis Gaming. You can, if you want to, you can skip the third wave. It's a little bit risky and you might want to use a survivor link for this one. But basically the third wave come out of the door that you're about to go through. So what you can do is as soon as they come out, you can actually just run straight past them, do a right, activate the button, turn around, do a left, and you then go and wait for the door to open. During that time when you're waiting for the door to open is when you will most likely get shot in your back. But if you really didn't want to fight those people, maybe you're getting low on ammo, maybe you were struggling, maybe the big guys were giving you grief, then you can actually run past them. A couple of them will probably come up the stairs afterwards and you might need to pick them off, but for the most part, you can actually skip that. And then you're into the final room, and for this one, what you actually want to do is, despite the fact that it might seem really appealing to go and fight from the top, the best place to fight is down at the bottom by this bar. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of people that will throw grenades, and if you're up at the top you will get bombarded by them. But the cool thing about being down here is that a lot of the grenades will actually hit the door frame in front of you and then instead fall short, and they won't actually hurt you. Some of them will of course get through, but generally speaking this is the place to be, because you'll find that a lot of the grenades will not get you. And again, same principle applies. Throw smart cover on the wall, throw down support station, hide behind here and focus fire. You ideally want to have a couple of people picking off the snipers at the top left and the top right, while the other two people focus on the big guys, because again they will be working towards the door, and if you do not deal with them, they'll push into the room and they will make your life a living hell. So focus on those guys. Again, if you have a tactical link, use it to burn them down, and once those big guys are down, start picking off the grenade guys, because they'll of course make things difficult. And once you've done the first wave, of course the main boss will come in. At this point you then want to pick off the grenade guys that come with her, and then once they're cleared you can actually start pushing into the room. Push into the room, take out the boss. You can actually rush her with your team, but do bear in mind that the second you kill the boss, the final wave of enemies will come out the door. So at this point it depends on your builds and whatnot. We are being a little bit reckless and just rushing the enemies. Typically what I would recommend for this one is actually working back towards the bar, let the enemies filter in, and you can start picking them off again. And that's pretty much all there is to it. That is how our team does the Lexington Event Center challenge mode mission on a daily basis. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. If you do have any questions, then by all means let me know in the comments down below. But thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.